Hi guys, today I'm going to be going over the review pages on 774 through 776. This is your assignment for Friday, April 24th. And before I started, I wanted to make you guys aware of this username. I posted about it on your class page, but in case you didn't see it, Mrs. Thompson made an Instagram account because she knows that you guys sometimes respond or are able to message faster through social media accounts than maybe your school email. So if you want to get in contact with Miss Thompson and you have an Instagram account, her username is Mrs. Thompson _Memphord MS. So you can look her up or add her. She's gonna be posting just uplifting stuff. So if you need some more, positive stuff in your news feed or in your Instagram feed, you can add Miss Thompson. So today, like I said, we're going to be doing the review pages. So what I would recommend is to treat this like a homework assignment page. So I would go through and do those pages first. And then if you have specific questions or specific problems that you don't know how to do, go through the video and find that specific question. I'll try to write whatever number I'm on the board, so that way you can just speed through and get to the questions you need. So if you're able to do the review on your own independently, that's great. That means you should be good to go for your tests that we'll have next week. So if you haven't looked at your calendar, I guess I should talk about next week. On Monday of next week, we'll do the assessment practice or the red pages in your book. On Tuesday, you can work on your asking and answering statistical questions study island lesson. And then on Wednesday, I'll have a link for a Kahoot game that you can play to review. Somebody asked me last time, they said, can I only play the Kahoot game once? No, you can go in and replay it as many times as you would like to play it. That's up to you. The link usually will only work for like that day or the next couple of days. Like I can only set it to work for so many days. So if you don't get on Wednesday to do it, you'll miss out on that review. And then Thursday and Friday next week, I have given you 2 days to work on the topic 15 assessment, which will be an assessment about statistical questions, mean, median, mode, and range. So that's kind of a look at what is to come next week. So today we're doing the review pages. So again, do them yourself and make sure you know how to do them. And then any that you have questions on, come back to this video because I'm going to go through how to do each and every question. So if you take a look at page 774, I'll share my screen with you. And hopefully, there we go. 774 looks like this. It's a purple vocabulary page. So on 1 through 5, there's not really a lot to explain. It's just the answers. So I'll go down through and read those. It is good to know your definitions. That way, if it asks you to find the mean or to find the median, you'll need to know the difference between those words. So I'll go over those and then we'll go from there. So let me pull up so you can see what I'm doing. So on number 1, it says, the blank is a value that occurs most often in a data set. So the keyword there is most. Most has an MO, and so does the word that you would fill in on the blank, which is mode. Remember, mode has an MO, most has an MO. Number 2, a blank anticipates a variety of different answers. This would be a statistical question. So remember, with statistical questions, we said that typically statistical questions are going to have a numeric answer. On the study island lesson that you guys will do next week, I think it requires that it has a numerical answer. That's part of their definition. I don't know why I always sneeze during these videos. So a statistical question in your book's definition doesn't have to have a numerical answer. It just has to be a question that's going to have lots of different answers. It's not going to be a question that's going to give you the same answer every time. So if I ask, what time is your first period math class, to everyone in my first period math class, they're going to say it's first period. It starts at 7:45. So that would not be a statistical question because it's going to get the same answer every time. But if I just go into the cafeteria and I say to just random people, what time is your math class? Then I might have lots of different answers. So a statistical question anticipates a variety of answers. Number 3, the sum of all the values in a data set, so that means you're adding up all the numbers, divided by the total number of values is the what? And that is the mean. We say that the mean is the meanest because it makes you do the most work. You have to add everything up and then divide. Number 4, to find the blank of a data set, you need to know the least and the greatest values. That would be the range. So if you're trying to figure out what's the range of my data, you've got to know the smallest and the largest because you have to subtract them in order to find your range. On number 5, the middle value of an ordered data set is the what? Middle has M, an I, and a D, and the word median has those letters as well. So median, it has a D in the middle, just like the word middle has a D in the middle, so median, middle. Okay, so that's all for 1 through 5. On 6 and 7, it says circle the median in each set. So median is the middle number. So when we look at number 6, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 numbers. So I know that I'm going to have 4 numbers on each side and 1 number in the middle. Okay, so on number 6, if I write my numbers, there's a 10, 15, 20, 25, 28, 30, 30, 40, and 50. So again, if you're struggling to know where the middle number is, I always count and see how many numbers there are because it has to be odd. There has to be an odd number for there to be 1 number left in the middle. And I know that 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. So I know I'm going to have 4 numbers on this side and 4 numbers on that side. And then my half on each side would be my middle number. So if that is confusing for you, you can go through and mark off 1 number on each side until you get to the middle. So I can mark off smallest and largest, smallest and largest, smallest and largest, smallest and largest. And that will leave me with 1 number in the middle. So you would circle 28 on that one. On number 7, you're going to do the same thing. So you can work your way to the middle. And the number that you would circle on that one would be 16. And there would be 4 numbers on both sides on that one as well. So there are 9 numbers. Okay. On 8 through 11, it says, the data set shows the ages of volunteers at a wildlife center. Write T for true and F for false. So our ages are 47, 12, 16, 12, 52, 30, and 13. So it wants to know the range, the median, the mode, and the mean. So the first thing I'm going to do for 8 through 11, I'll put 8 through 11 up here at the top because those are the numbers I'm working on. The first thing I want to do is put my numbers in order from least to greatest because remember when you're trying to find the median, you have to have them in order. So I might as well put them in order. That'll also help me with my range because then I can pick the last number and the first number to subtract. So when I look at these numbers, let me move my book over here. It looks to me like the youngest volunteers are 12. They have 12, 12, 13, and then a 16-year-old, a 30-year-old, a 47, and 52. And like I told you guys before, always make sure you go through and count these. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. I've got them all. So the first thing I have to do on number 8 is find the range. So the range is when I do 52 minus 12. So 2 minus 2 is 0. 5 minus 1 is 4. So 40 years old. Yes, that would be true. Okay. On number 9, it wants to know if the median age is 12. So again, smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest. It leaves me with 1 in the middle, and that would be 16. So is the median age 12? No, it's 16. So that would be false. On number 10, the mode is 12. So remember, mode is the number we see the most times. So when I look at this, 12 is up there 2 times, so 12 would be the mode. So on number 10, it would be true. I don't know if you can see that. And then on number 11, it wants to know if the mean age is 26. So to get the mean, you can use a calculator. You're going to add all of these up. You're going to hit equals. That's really important. And then you're going to divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're going to divide by 7. And if you do that, you will get 26. So number 11 is true. On number 12, sorry, my allergies. I went outside with Millie because it's a sunny, warm day, and now I'm like from all the pollen. It says Alicia earned the following amounts pet setting: 28, 36, 15, 43, 28. Explain how you would describe the data. Use at least 4 words from your word list in the explanation. So I'm just going to read through the answer, and I'm not going to write it out. Everybody could have different answers for this because you could choose a different 4 words from the word list to use. The sample answer that they give in the book is the mode and the median of Alicia's earnings is 28. 28 is the mode because it occurs the most often, and it is the median because it is the middle number. The range of Alicia's earnings is $28, the difference in the greatest and least amount she earned. The mean of Alicia's earnings is 30. So basically, they took those amounts she got paid, and they found the mean, median, mode, and range, and then just told about them. So you could do that as well. Okay, taking a look at the next page, it's a yellow page, and I X'd off a bit. Okay, I was going to share my screen with you and remind you that on these reteaching pages, the left-hand side is examples and the right-hand side is the problems, but I'm sure you guys know that by this point in the year. So if you need extra examples or extra problems, the left-hand side is a really good place to review and look at things. And I'm sorry, my hair is crazy. Okay, so on 1, 2, and 3 on set A, it says tell whether or not each question is statistical. So on number 1, it says how many stations are there in a subway system? So if it's one system and I'm just going through that one system, counting the stations, it's going to have one answer. You know, there's 10 stations in this subway system, or there's, you know, however many there are in that particular system. If it said, you know, how many stations are there in all of the subway stations in the whole world, or systems in the whole world, then that would be different. But since it says, are there in a subway system, it's a specific system, it's going to have one answer. So that would not be statistical, because to be statistical, it's got to have a lot of different answers. On number 2, how would passengers of a subway system rate the quality of service on a scale from 1 to 10? So as people are getting off this subway, I can say, you know, how would you rate your service today? And they would give me a number. So not only is it going to be a numerical response, it's also going to be different for everybody that's on that train, because some people might think it was a really good subway ride, and maybe somebody else was sitting next to a kid that was screaming and they're really upset with the ride. I don't know. So that would be a statistical question because it's going to get lots of different answers. Number 3, how many passengers travel on each of the green, blue, red, and orange lines of a subway system each day? So because it's asking each day and because it's asking different lines, the answer would change each day. So if it had said how many passengers traveled on these subway systems on this particular day, if it was asking about one day, it would not be statistical. But because it's saying each day, it's wanting lots of different answers. So that would be statistical. Okay. So that is set A. Set B. Okay, so on set B, it's wanting you to find the mean of each data set. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. I'll go through and do like maybe 2 examples, but I feel like there's not a lot to talk about here. So remember, when you get the mean, what you're doing is you're adding up all the numbers and then dividing by how many there are. So when I look at number 1, and I have the numbers 3, 6, and 9. My first step is to add those together. So 3 plus 6 is 9, and 9 plus 9 is 18. After I add them up, I'm going to divide by how many there are. So there's 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to divide by 3. 18 divided by 3 is 6. So my mean would be 6. You don't have to work it out in your head. You can use a calculator. On number 2, the same thing. You're going to add up the total. So I'm going to add up 5 plus 12 plus 0 plus 7. Okay. Like I said, you always want to make sure you hit equals and get the total before you divide. So my total is 24, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers in that data set. So you're going to divide 24 by 4, and that would give you a mean of 6. So I'm not going to go over the rest of those because the explanation is the same every single time. Add them up, count up how many numbers you added up, and then divide by that number. So you can check your answers to those on the answer key that I will post on Monday. So taking a look at set C. On set C, it asks you to find the median, mode, and range of each data set. So on number 1, it puts the numbers in order for you, so that's kind of helpful. And it asks for the median, the mode, and the range. Okay, so remember, the median is the middle number. So what number is in the middle? 5. The mode is the number you see the most. So what number do I see the most? 5. And the range is when you take your biggest, subtract the smallest. So 5 minus 2 would be 3. I'm going to take a look at, I'm not going to do all of these because, again, it's very repetitive. That's the same explanation over and over again. So I'm going to skip number 2. And I'm going to take a look at number 3 because number 3 is slightly different. So on number 3, it's a little bit trickier for 2 reasons. 1, there's only 4 numbers, so there's an even number. So that kind of changes what we do for our median. And number 2, they don't put them in order. So on number 3, your first step would be to put your numbers in order from least to greatest. So I'd have 24, 25, 26, and 27. To get the median, it's my middle number. But if I cross out the smallest and the largest, I'm going to be left with two middle numbers. So remember, when you have two middle numbers, you have to add them together and divide by 2. And it should give you the number that's in between those. So the number in between 25 and 26 would be 25 and a half. Or 25